Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 58 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of PS VR2. A show for those who want to share in our love for the world of VR. Now, I'm your host, Laurie, and if you did not know already, we are part of the Cross Players. So, if you like what you hear, check out links to all of our stuff in the description for this episode. Now, it is an honour to be joined by two of the most ain't afraid of no ghost influencers in the metaverse. It's Ben and Reese. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We've been playing Ghostbusters, the new update, but we'll come to that later. It's fair to say that Ben wasn't too scared when he played that.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
No. You two both well?
Very good. All the better for seeing you.
Yeah, you two are well.
good.
Unlike our other host, who is currently not too well today. So get well soon, Alex.
Get well
Recover.
soon, Alex.
We need
Come
you
back soon, Alex.
We need you back. We need your dour Scottish takes on the world of VR.
We do.
We do. But yeah, what have you been up to, Reese? What have you been up to this week?
Playing a lot of VR. A lot of VR.
So you're in the
right place to be for it, isn't it? Yep.
And Ben, what have you been up to?
I'm just thanking my lucky stars that Reese is here. So I have
Played
what-
so
the-
much VR. You played some
the
VR?
opposite of whatever he said.
Yeah.
What VR game you played, Ben?
We're recording this over Easter weekend, so I hope you're all enjoying your long weekends.
Yes.
Yeah,
I really am.
I was actually working today on Good Friday.
It's the same as my
That's
wife.
not-
She
yeah.
just chooses to ignore the fact it was Good Friday. See, I don't work Fridays ever, so that's like a normal day for me. Just
You're a kept man, aren't you, Laurie?
I do work the rest of the week. I work Monday to Thursday. Just I don't work Friday. I'm one of these 4-day-a-week people. I've embraced the future.
Semi-retired.
I won't call it that, but
I really wish I had a 4-day week.
It's
That'd
the
be
future.
nice.
It's the future. We'll all be doing it soon, but right
We
now,
will.
Hope so. Really do hope so.
yeah, more time for you to play VR all day, Reese. That's what you need.
That's
don't
the
have
dream.
Don't have enough spare time.
Living the dream, just playing VR and not living in the real world, basically.
Hey, speaking of people needing more time, the devs over at Madison.
That is the best segue you've ever done. The best.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. Episode 58. He's finally cracked it.
10 out of 10.
So last week, Alex was like, "What are they doing releasing it so close to Happy Funland?" And I said, "Don't worry, there's no way they're going to release it that way. It's going to get delayed again. Don't worry." He goes, "No, it's definitely it's going to release on that day." Which I think would have been today as we were recording this. It's due to come out, and it's been delayed again. The devs, they put out a statement. I think, correct me if I'm wrong there, Reese, because you probably know better than I do. They were going to add a 90 frames per second mode to it, and they wanted to add that in, and so they're delaying it for a few weeks to put that in. Which I was like, what? Like, you don't decide like the day before you're going to release a game. Actually, lads, you know what? Let's whack in a complete load of extra visual
Yeah.
modes.
I think it's foveated rendering as well, if I read rightly. They're meant to be trying to add into it. But if something changed in Unity, there was a new update to Unity, so they can now add foveated rendering with 90 FPS as opposed to where it was running at 120 FPS before, I believe. They put out a whole blog post, but I don't know why they couldn't just release it and then add this later with an update.
Well, I don't know, because it makes a
feel
big
like
difference.
it looks
doesn't
good enough, though. Like from the previews I've seen, it looked pretty decent, so...
Yeah, I mean, I've got no interest in playing this game, so I got no.
Okay, fair play. I have. I had a lot of interest. I was very disappointed.
Ultimately, who cares? No, I
But it seems like a big release, doesn't it? It keeps going.
But it seems like I wonder if how common this is though. Like it's like it gets to the point where right, it's ready for tomorrow. Yeah, we're gonna put it out tomorrow. Yeah. Well, there's one thing I'd like to change, and like how can it possibly get to this? And it does make you kind of worry about, is this just how games are landing on the platform so half baked because people are just, I mean, this doesn't seem like a professional way to release a video game, I suppose. And how common is that?
3 or 4 times now. It's not like
it feels like
first
free.
or second delay.
I just wish they wouldn't date them.
Yeah, well, it's not like I remember like Ocarina of Time coming out. It kept getting delayed, but that was like 6 months we're going to need another 6 months for this. We're going to need another 3 months for this. It's not. Whereas this is like we need one more week. Oh, we need another couple of weeks. We need another week.
Yeah,
Guys,
it's like cowboy builders.
Delay it for 3 months and just sort it all out. Stop it and like give yourself plenty of time. Stop.
Yeah,
one more week. Yeah, exactly. It's like
love. It's going to take. We're going to need another week or so, love. Yeah.
You said it was going to be 3 days a week ago, and now you want another week. Right.
Well, we're at the mercy of the weather, love. You don't know how these things are going to turn out, do you? Yeah.
Just level the
Selco have got the supplies.
Madison Dev's outdoors working on it. So it's been windy. We couldn't do any work. It's too dangerous up there.
Where? The scaffolding when it's raining.
Oh, dear.
I can't wear my headset out there today, love.
No. Man, it'd be suicide.
I don't know who's love this.
Especially with the wire attached to it. Yeah, it's really dangerous.
I mean, it would be.
Yeah.
Would be.
It would be.
Okay. So it's coming. So, I mean, it's good that it's going to be at its best when it's released. I'd rather than release a really polished game that stands out and it impresses people, rather than a game that's like, it's good, but it's fuzzy or it's blurry or it just doesn't look right or it makes you feel sick because it's whatever. So, but it's just they're just embarrassing themselves a little bit with these constant week-long delays and stuff. So we shall see. I hope it's worth the wait, Reese, for your sake.
And looking forward to seeing how it reviews on checkertrade.com.
Trust the builder.
Yeah. Cool. Well, a game which I don't know if it's been delayed. We didn't know when the release date was, and it's now got one. It's just a Mixture, which is now been dated for April the 12th, which is very soon. I think this episode is going to be coming out on the 2nd, isn't it? So it's about about a week or two after this episode releases. So yeah
exciting. I remain excited for that game. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be one for me.
Oh,
but I'm glad you're excited, Ben.
Hey, we compliment each other. This is good.
Yeah.
Come on, Reese. We picked up your game. Come on.
Yeah. It looks really good. I think it looks like a good mixture of a game.
Hey.
A mixture of go on.
I said it's a mixture of a game. Platformer and first person-ish. Yeah. No, I don't know.
This is like a Moss game, but with a bit more like action combat to it, right?
Yeah. I think after playing Max Mustard, like I don't know what's going to hit that right now. Like for platformer, them type of games, I don't know what's going to hit that for me. So,
well, we shall see.
Hopefully it does. I do hope it does. I hope it surprises me. There we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, that might be... So Madison and Mixture might be coming out around the same sort of time. So hopefully PS VR2 will be having a good April with a couple of things there. Now, we've got a game which came out a while ago now, Hellsweeper. Had a big new update. It's now added the foveated rendering, a lot more crisper resolution, just a whole big visual overhaul, really, which I guess is like what we don't want Madison need to do. And this is what we say about better games just come out with all this stuff in the first place, but it came out about 6 months ago and now they finally got to added all what they need to do. And I think that is, I read on this one, it's an update. They've had to switch to a different version of Unity or something to get it working.
They have to change the build.
So. Yeah, and Reece, you have played this for us, haven't you?
Yes, the first time I played it was 3 months ago, so I noticed some of the lower quality, not as bad as it was when the release, so I never saw it.
When it first came out, Alex played it for us, and he was really impressed by it. He liked it, but he had a lot of...
gameplay-wise, it's impressive. But even when we had Miles on, he mentioned it, and he said it was like looking at a game through treacle, which I think was probably a good way of explaining how the game did look at when it first came out. But now, like instantly when I loaded it up, 10 times better. Just the look of it as well, and the gameplay. I've noticed they've added more haptics to the controllers, because before my main issue I had was when hitting enemies, it didn't really feel like I was hitting anything, whereas now I can feel the vibrations of the attacks. It made everything feel better. I still need to get used to the gameplay though, because doing flips in VR is exactly. Even for I've got 5+ years in VR, that right there is something that you need to train yourself for. So I can do it a few times and I'm like, okay, I'll calm that down now. But it looks so cool to do. But yeah, no, graphics-wise, this is now the time to play it, I think. I enjoyed it when I played it before, but I enjoyed it a lot more just doing one act I did today, and I had a lot of fun with it.
It's, I mean, it was... on paper it looked good before. I think and appreciate like emotion and in the headset might look very different, but they've done some before and after things. And to be honest, when you see these before and after things, it's like when people post like Digital Foundry videos or pictures where it's like, oh, here's the PS4 and the PS4 Pro version, and I'm like, I cannot see any difference in that. Or here's the Xbox version, here's the PlayStation, and then
I'm glad it's not only me.
And it's kind of like when that with this Hellsweeper, there's some before and after pictures of before and after the favorited rendering, but I'm sure when you're playing it, it makes a big difference because I know that I've played some games which are blurry in VR, and it's one that you just need to get in the headset to see. But yeah, it looks like a cool game.
Yeah, I think like you said, I didn't notice the differences between the video, but when I loaded in, I noticed the difference straight away. Like it just popped more, just everything. Even the characters' hands, they didn't look as, just blurry and just pasty. Before they had no texture to them really, whereas now you can see the texture of the skin. The cracks in his knuckles. It's just, you could notice all this a lot. Yeah, it's everything's more noticeable. I couldn't give you any details on how the dog looks in it though, because I still have not unlocked the dog. So that's what I'm going to work towards. But it's the closest thing I felt to Devil May Cry in VR.
Well, that sounds cool. And I suppose when you from what I understand, obviously I'm not tech expert by any means, but favorited rendering, when you understand what it means, it's like, okay, so the console doesn't have to render the whole screen in high clarity resolution because it knows what you're looking at, so just focus on making that bit look sharp. That's just like, well, you can understand how that could just make such a difference for games, and just don't bother making all the pictures sharp, just the bit around what I'm looking at. And then you think, well, why doesn't every game, to launch a PS VR2 game that doesn't have that? It just seems crazy because you're just wasting all the resources making all of the screen that you're not looking at sharp for no reason whatsoever.
Now with this Unity update, though, I think maybe it might be easier for developers that are using Unity to now put foveated rendering in. So hopefully we'll see it more now. Because I remember before when games are coming out with Unity, a lot of them were saying it's quite difficult to add foveated rendering. There's a lot more stuff you have to do. So it's very rare. You usually see it on the Unreal games, but hopefully now with this update we'll see it a lot more. Well, I hope so anyway.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get fewer games that launch in a kind of sorry state on day one and have to wait to be patched and stuff. Because I feel like, if the developers and if the tools and stuff get shared and developed and become more commonplace, then the games will just keep getting better and better looking, and we'll get more and more stuff that looks as good as Red Matter. And stuff like that, the stuff that isn't coming out blurry and a bit of a mess at launch. Cool. Well, speaking of hell, another game has been revealed. VR port is a Metal Hellsinger VR. So this is a port of a flat game that both of you have played. Ben, what's your experience with the Metal Hellsinger world?
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a Doom like, but with rhythm game elements to it, basically. So my memory on it is a little bit hazy. I played it when it first came out on Game Pass, but you're basically going through levels, shooting demons, but if you shoot them in time and reload in time with the music, then what, Reese?
Do more damage, happens? Get a combo.
More points.
Yeah.
More
there we go. You get a combo thing per the beat, you do.
Is it points kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a combo system, basically. You get your combos, you get hits to the beats. However, there is a mode, which is something I'd recommend a lot of players that are maybe interested in the concept of this, is they have a non-rhythm mode, and basically every one of your shots is to the beat. It doesn't matter. And it makes the game just feel like Doom, just with more heavy metal than Doom already has. And that's the way I tend to play it, just because it feels more like a shooter. You can just kind of chime out to the music. It's quite nice that way. It can be quite difficult with the shooting to the beat, and sometimes a bit frustrating as well, because you'll be like, well, that was definitely to the beat. So I'm hoping they add that to the VR version, because I think it would bring a lot of people who like the look of the game interested in it, but not so much the rhythm side of it to play it. So I really do hope they keep that bit there, because that's how I would play it anyway.
They've got to, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. It's like an accessibility option, so I think they would definitely do it.
Yeah, but it's really cool. It's one of those where you can completely get lost in the moment. Like the music carries you through, and it kind of escalates the further through the level you get, and the higher your combo is. Right, the vocals will come into the music and everything else. So it's a really good one. I can imagine it working really
Good
well in
story
VR.
as well to it. So
Yeah, so I'm quite excited for that as well.
some well-known metal artists as well. So if you're a fan of metal music, you'll know some of the names. There's not their own music in it, but they've got vocalists from bands like System of a Down. Lorna Shore, vocalist, does one of the DLCs. I'm hoping you can still get the DLCs from the original version over to it as well. But yeah, there's a lot of good powerhouse vocals on it, which I think a lot of people that like that genre of music would have a blast with.
Yeah, and for someone that actively despises that genre of music, I really enjoyed this game anyway.
That's also good
despite
to hear.
that, so yeah,
That is a good endorsement. Because Reese, when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, "This is I could not imagine a more Reese game than
The funny
this."
thing is, you messaged me in the group chat, and then Alex messaged me separately as well. It was like, "Here's a game for you." I was like, "Oh, these people know me so well."
Yeah,
Just the one game, like, yeah, this is what you need.
Tell us what you were doing last night, Reese.
What I was doing last night, I was at a pendulum gig. Which was I did have to think. I was like, what was I doing last night?
You're in trouble.
I was seeing Pendulum live, and it was amazing. So yeah,
and that is a heavy metal musical group. Is that correct?
no, that's not. It's an EDM, dubstep, drum and bass with some influences of metal on some of their tracks.
Okay,
So there is a little bit metal there, but it's more electronic. But usually when I go to a gig, it is metal. Yes.
Good.
Is it more? I just think of Pendulum just because of that kind of the beat of the kind of that kind of techno beat is very much kind of that doom. It's that kind of metal, but a bit techno-y metal, isn't it?
Yes, good old techno metal.
And Ben, you're good at rhythm games, Ben. You strike me as someone that's very good at a rhythm game.
Yeah, I am.
You're
I'm fucking amazing at them. Yeah. No, I don't know. I enjoy them.
Sure you are. You are musically inclined as well. I'm going at right?
I'm that way inclined. Yeah, I enjoy them. Enjoy that aspect of games. I'm trying to think. There's another game that I played recently.
Hi-Fi Rush.
No.
Surely that was it.
I couldn't get that's the one I couldn't get on with.
Hi-Fi Rush. No, I just didn't like it because I had no rhythm. Apparently, I was really bad at it. I was like, "Oh, come on! I'm trying my best. Just let me through this." But should just be like, I don't know if Hi-Fi Rush. Maybe it does have this. I can't remember. But it's just like if you fail a battle a few times, it should be like, "Oh, go on then, keep going."
We feel sorry for you. Go on.
That's what I need. It's just like let me have a couple of goes in it, and if I don't want to try a third. So if you make me try a third, I'm just going to stop playing it, and that's why eventually I have given up. But I don't know. Probably was about halfway, 2/3 of the way through it, and it just kept getting more and more complex. And the parry system, I just could not fucking.
I couldn't get on with it.
But yeah, you need like your Mario games when you get the golden mushroom or whatever it is, whatever it is that gives you that invulnerability to go to the level. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Anyway, rhythm games. Ben doesn't have that problem because you have the rhythm, don't you?
I have the rhythm.
Rhythm is a dancer. So that's Metal Hellsinger, and I'm glad you're both excited about that one. Cool.
But the question is, Laurie, are you excited?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, that's good to know then.
No
Next.
rhythm. See? No rhythm. Don't really like shooting games. Not one for me.
Damn. We'll get in one day.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, what have you been playing? Reese, you've got one thing you've been playing, and that's, I think we'll save that because that's going to be the big mood to the show. But you've been playing something else as well. We can revisit it. So tell us about that one.
So I jumped back into Stilt recently to just kind of get a bit more of a feel for it. Because last time I played it was the tutorial level and one level after the tutorial, which was really good. But after you complete the tutorial, it takes you to like an open world similar to Mario 64. It kind of reminded me of. You have to roam around this whole map to go to different areas to do the different levels. So I kind of did that. Got an experience of some more of the power-ups. You got like a propeller blade one, which I thought was really cool, which you can just kind of like fly around the map with it. So yeah, I've been having a lot more fun with it than I originally did. I still think it's still difficult to kind of recommend to certain people because I just don't know how to. Like, it's one of them games where I look at it and go, if you like platformers, you might like it. But again, the movement is something that may just put you off instantly. But I was having a blast with it. The graphics is still really nice. Still a lot of things to like about it. Still can't get into a multiplayer match though. But so far, I'm liking what I'm doing with it.
Are you finding the movement more natural?
No. Tried to. No, I kept going backwards this time, and I kept dying. And I found it to so after you do the tutorial level, when you die on a level, you have to start over again unless you use your stamps. And when you use your stamps, you won't get the the certain gift from the level because you have to earn a certain amount of stamps per level to get the gift. So it made it quite difficult to kind of reach that, the achievement in each level for the stamps if you die. So it can be quite difficult with that side of it as well, which made it a little bit more frustrating than I'd liked it to be. So I've not got used to the movement yet. I still find myself trying to crawl across the floor on the game and just still bounces me back. But no, I'm still having fun with it. But I think it's one of them games where I think I'd have to play it continuously for the whole week until I'd master the movement. I come off it for an hour or two, go back on it, and I'm like, I have no idea.
You see those videos of like when devs watch other people play their game and like kind of how they design the system. Just players are just invariably just complete idiots that will miss all really obvious cues and examples and things, and they'll just miss really obvious things. And I bet if the developers watched people play this game, or if they watch you play it or me play it, like, no, what is he doing? No, that's not how you're supposed to do it. And it would just drive them absolutely mad.
Bounce off the walls. Do this. Yeah, no.
For their benefit, I'm never going to stream myself playing this game. But yeah, there was a lot of going backwards when I played it as well.
It's good, but again, I'm just trying to figure out who to recommend it to. Like, watch trailers and maybe consider it. It's so difficult. But no, I'm having fun with it. I want to try multiplayer, but for some reason, for the life of me, I can't get into a multiplayer match. So, yeah, it's really disappointing because I want to try that aspect of it. But
I mean, it's pretty unless you find someone else.
Maybe I'll get you both on it.
Well, unless you find someone else and like make an appointment to play with them. I don't know how many people are playing.
I did that with Alex, and it still didn't work for us. It kept kicking us both out of the game.
But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like a Helldivers lobby. It's how, like, no offense to them, like how
good old Helldivers.
Yeah,
well done. We made it about 20 minutes without either of you two mentioning Helldivers. Well done.
Helldivers, so good.
We haven't played it for a while. We should play Helldivers. Do you want to play Helldivers?
Fuck off. Sorry, did that come out as a new mic? That wasn't supposed to come out.
I was going to say it's a new mic, isn't it? It's looking good. Good there.
It does. It matches his shirt a little bit there.
Blends in.
It does blend in. You've got like a little floating black square in front of you. Well, that's Stilt. Are you going to keep playing it, Reese?
I am going to keep playing it. I'm going to try and get through all the levels to find out what this conclusion is. But it's just, I'm hoping it gets easier as I go along.
So cool. Okay, well, that's Stilt. I have been playing a game which was there at the very start of PSVR 1, and that's What the Bat.
Oh!
Which I know, Ben, you were a particularly fan of. Now,
yes. I game.
If anyone has got kids that want to play the VR, this is the game that you give. That and I don't mean that in a sort of pejorative sense. This is not like a kid's game, but my son, he likes playing the VR. He's been Tentacular has been his favourite game to now, and that's the one he'll always want to play if he had jumped on and has a quick go on the headset. But now that's Tentacular is dead to him. It's What the Bat. This is the game for him. He loves it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's so
good. Yeah. It's just so well done, isn't it?
It's the first game I nearly smashed my light with in VR. Yeah. So, a lot of fun.
It's so funny. That elephant, it's just there, just like watching you.
Yeah.
It's like what the fuck is an elephant? Who is it? But it doesn't matter. It's just so
when you see
silly.
it in the mirror and you turn around, it's like, it's not there. You're like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this game?
It's like a vampire elephant thing.
It's such an easy recommendation for anyone with PSVR 2, isn't it? Is it exclusive to PSVR 2, by the way?
I think it's on Quest. I think it is on Quest. I've seen it on Quest.
Okay.
Definitely.
But still, play it.
This is where it's not.
It's the sense of humour in it and how silly it is and how it just makes you laugh and smile. The tricks, because it plays little tricks and stuff at you where you think you can see what you need to do. So you do the thing and it's like the thing you're going for is actually completely fake cardboard cutout and falls over and you think, oh, fuck's sake, I should have. And now you're like, no, I feel really stupid now because I can see clearly that's not the real thing. And then the real thing you need to do is like somewhere really obvious or silly over to the side. And if you just look around in the first place, you would have seen it. But it just there's a load of little things like that. It just does things that mess with you. But you just make sure, oh God, you have to laugh and admire how clever they are because they knew exactly what you were going to do. And then you did it.
You damn well did it. Yeah, it's so good. I've actually recently been playing What the Golf because that came out on PlayStation a couple of weeks ago. So I played that on Switch when it first released, and it's just got that same sense of humour. And playing that has just made me miss playing what the bat as well. 'Cause it's just
it's equally
they
as
just
silly,
do
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah. The way it just plays with all those expectations and stuff is just like consistently hilarious.
It's like what's going to happen next is the kind of whole thing for it.
There should be more games that just mess with you and just try and sort of wind you up and tease you, but not like there's nothing mean or unfair about it at all. It's not that sort of game. It's just all done as to. It's like tapping your friend on the shoulder and then being on the other side of him and made you look. It's just like that sense of humour. It's so silly, all of it, and it just makes you feel like you're just. It's very childish in that way, if that makes sense. It's like
it's
a
just
good
playful and like low stakes as well. Like it doesn't really matter if you mess up. You kind of just go and then try it again. Like it's lovely.
It's just when you have to like throw knock the little coffees into the cats. It just makes the cats just happy they've got their drinks on their heads. It's just like...
I found it quite funny when you get the bit where you have to paint the wall with your bats, and I was like, I'm going to try and be Picasso here, and then just looked. I was like, yeah, no, that's not Picasso. that is not.
It's like that bit in Call of the Mountain when that came out, and people were like sharing their amazing artwork they did, and I'm like just there drawing a cock and balls.
Yeah, mine just looked like finger painting. It was not good.
I tried to do our logo and it just ended up looking like a child did it. But
yeah,
I just did a cock and balls as well.
Also,
like
music,
every person.
yeah, of course, everyone did. The music though, that my son will go
the
around
theme
and
song.
He'll be singing like what like what It's
catchy. I think I did that for about a week as well after playing it.
Also, for kids playing it, the settings, as you go into the settings menu and you can just adjust your height really easily, and all the puzzles and everything adjust to suit the height you're at. So there's a lot of games which, for kids playing VR, it's quite hard for him because they're just not tall enough. It's just hard for him to interact. It's kind of wrong scale for a child, and that's fair enough because they're not meant for kids to wear. And I certainly doesn't ever go on it for more than kind of 20-30 minutes at a time. But it is good that there is a game that he can play and is well designed around him. So it's good. Yeah, he really likes it, and it's nice that it's totally safe and accessible and fun, and it's just he really makes him giggle and laugh as well. So it's lovely to watch him play it.
That's nice. That's what it's all about.
Good to hear. A game that's for everyone. It's definitely what you need sometimes.
Cool. Well, so that's what the bat. Love it. Going to keep playing it. I've still got a couple more levels to do, I think. But the other game that we're playing is one that got its update this week, and that's Ghostbusters. So this was the big DLC to tie in with Frozen Empire, I want to say.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Frozen Empire. Which basically like it's in New York, icy themed thing. So they've got DLC for the game. So free update, which is good. Some other quality of life improvements to the game as well. So Alex, Ben, and myself jumped into this yesterday when the DLC landed. And yeah, well, Ben, why don't you tell us what you thought of it?
That good, huh?
Now, you'd never played this before, had you, Ben?
I'd never played
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Correct.
The base game. Yeah. And I don't think I ever will again.
I couldn't see your face, but I could see I knew exactly what you were.
The sad thing is the amount of times we've tried to get Ben on this game, and the first time he plays it, this is what happens.
I think, I could just see your expression of just pure loathing and disgust in the voice.
What am I doing?
Tone of your voice. Like, oh, well, that was shit, wasn't it? Oh, we're another level, have we? Okay.
Great.
Wow,
It was. I'm not like an online
you're not an online person. No.
gamer anyway. Like I don't like. There's a reason why I don't play Helldivers with you guys. Like that's not how I like. Nothing against you. I love this. This is nice. But if I'm playing a game, I like to do it generally by myself.
Go at your own pace kind of thing.
Walkabout mini golf, the obvious exception there.
Is the obvious exception because that feels like more of a social thing, and again, low pressure, gentle.
Good to learn
good. Yeah. Mainly for that. I wasn't. So I played 15 minutes, Laurie, 20 minutes at that at most.
Yeah.
Before I just went,
I thought you would have played more.
I'm out. No.
Yeah, well, so Ben dropped off, and then Alex and I played a few more levels, and we completed them. And then it crashed and booted me out, and then Alex just carried on going on his own. So he was just like, last man standing. He just carried on doing it. What a trooper! No, I think Ben, this was your experience with this game is very much part of it was down to. Part of that is just you just don't like this game and this genre in the first place. But I think it definitely did not help that you did not do any of the tutorial and did not understand any of the mechanics and stuff. And I think
that's not the recommended way to play this game.
No.
Yeah, fully appreciate.
And also, Alex, the first mission we did, Alex also didn't know what was going on and didn't realise that you have to press a button on your controller to do your sort of secondary function, which is your freeze ray thing. Which I did explain in the tutorial bit, but Alex missed that as well. So I think when we did the first level, my job was basically unfreezing you two because you two didn't know what you were doing.
Well, I wasn't even moving.
Alex was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I wasn't even moving around. I was just sort of very reluctantly standing there, pointing my thing at my ghost.
That's not going to work for you. You're being frozen and waiting for me to unfreeze you. I
think because I can see how it's fun for people that like playing together online. I was really put off by the look of it. Like, it's a Ghostbusters game. Like, it's fucking Ghostbusters. Like one of the biggest kind of media properties that you could possibly, align yourself with, and it looks crap and it feels cheap, and I don't know. That just instantly just made me kind of recoil more than any Ghost could. It was just the look of the game was just like ugh, and I know it's like a completely unfair judgment because I'm not assessing the game as a whole, but that was enough for me to just go, nah, I'm out.
It's not your sort of game anyway, so I don't think you'd ever like this, to be honest. And it is, it's a Quest game. In today, it's got to run on Quest 2, so it is a very basic looking game, and that is where most of the players are going to be on Quest playing it. And there'll be probably the teenage lobbies that you get dropped into, which has happened to me with this game as well. It's a classic.
The first time you played it, wasn't it?
Was it the squeakers you call them? Yeah, the first time I played it, I was just dropped into a team with those squeakers.
The squeakers, yeah.
But so just talking about the update then, so just so people that do like the game and the update then, I was a little bit disappointed in that you go off from the start of it, you go off to New York and you're in the original Ghostbusters house, but only you just dropped into the inside of it, so you can walk around the ground floor and then you can go upstairs and another floor of it. And I guess if you really like, it must have been accurately modelled on the films, I suppose. I don't know them well enough to be able to verify that, but and I was like, okay, cool, we're in New York now. It's nice to get out of a different setting. But then Dan Aykroyd's there and he sort of stood behind a desk and he sort of tells you what's going on. And he's like, right, I need you to go back to San Francisco and collect some data on this. And it's like, oh, okay. So you go back to the same 4-5 maps that the main
so it's Alcatraz you go to first,
Alcatraz and Chinatown Street, and there's like those same places, but just now they're frozen. And there's the frozen update DLC basically just means that you've got these kind of ice walls that block your way, and you've got a secondary function on the controller that on your plasma gun thing, proton pack, that can melt the ice. And also the ghosts start off and they're frozen and their shields are frozen, so you have to blast them with this heat gun to defrost them, warm them up, cook them, I don't know, and then you can start just take them down as normal. So that's kind of it, really. And the story of it was just kind of confusing me. I think it was just like, we didn't get the right Ghost Lord. Maybe the guy from the film, that's the real Ghost Lord. Oh my God. And it's like, so there's something like that, but I've never seen the films and I've not completed the main campaign. So it was all kind of a bit over my head, really. But you are essentially there's like 5 missions, and the first one you have to be someone to carry things. And rather, is it in the main game, Reece? Is it you're carrying? What is it you're carrying? What's the hot potato thing that you have to carry?
It's got a certain name for it, but it's basically a container full of ghosts you have to carry and take it to one point. You have to walk really slowly with it, don't you?
Yeah, and if you let go of it for a certain time, it blows
explode,
up and you fail the mission. Yeah. So on this one, it's a diary, the baddie's diary that you have to walk carefully with, and if you let go of it, you get 10 seconds to pick it back up again. Which, when you're playing with these two and they're constantly getting frozen, and I'm the only one holding the fucking book, I could put the book down, defrost them, and then pick the book up again. So yeah, we did it with Ben, and we failed. We played for about 15 minutes, and we failed. We restarted, and Ben dropped off, and then Alex and I did it, and we did it again by ourselves, totally fine. Just took about 5 minutes second time out. So sorry, Ben, you were very much dragging us down.
Hey, I was just there for trying to provide the laughs.
Yeah, you did, which you did. So I think it's not like there is a story bit to it, but it's very kind of like you're doing the same things, but there's now just a bit of a kind of a frozen twist on the levels, but that doesn't make a meaningful real impact on the gameplay. It's just like another thing you need to do when it comes to taking down the ghost. It's a little bit of extra complexity. The story is just it's a shame there aren't new maps or anything, and when it's like, oh, you can go to the original Ghostbusters house, like you're there for about 5 minutes and then you're just back to the San Francisco maps and stuff. So yeah, it's still not really a sort of game that I would want to spend much time on. The modes, the content just isn't really appealing enough for me to want to play. Yeah, even with this camera. I mean, me and Alex did it. Like we did 3 of the 5 levels together. You could probably do it all 5 of them in about 40 minutes if you were any good at this game. It's not a huge amount of extra content there. Like an hour at most it would take you to get through them all. And if you had 4 of you on the team that knew what you were doing, it would probably be half that, to be honest. It's just very
I'm a bit disappointed, really, by the sounds of it just being the original maps just with a frozen effect to them. I was kind of hoping for new maps altogether. And just hearing that just kind of, I don't know, just seemed cheap to me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe at the end there might be some extra stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was, to Ben's point, it is all a bit cheap, and it doesn't have that level of polish. Like you think if Sony, in the same way when Sony took Spider-Man and made the most fucking amazing comic book superhero game that's ever really been made, to be honest, I think Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, in terms of the most polished, high budget things, and then compare sort of Ghostbusters to that, you think if you made a Ghostbusters game with the level of polish of like Spider-Man enjoys, and that's probably what you should demand. Like I think from a PlayStation PSVR2, that's the sort of thing I'd be demanding. Like why shouldn't it be that level of quality and polish? And to Ben's point, like why is it just this very kind of light, basic, very kind of ugly looking game? And the ice effects are very, very basically done, and the little heat ray on the ice effects and stuff is it's almost like a flash of heat, like sort of flame spark, and then the ice melts just by shrinking and then disappears. It's all very.
There's usually a reason
cheap
with that. Like it's the same with like smoke grenades on Quest games. They usually make like a plume, like a ball, just simply because getting the particles to actually do smoke on a Quest device can be quite difficult, they say. I think it can be more easily done on the Quest 3, but like on the Quest 2 it can't. So that's pretty well they've done a similar thing here, where it's just, as you said, it's just a ball, kind of, it's a solid object in a way.
Yeah, and I think it's a shame for this game because, like, if Sony had gone down a different route and just said, right, Sony own the Ghostbusters film rights, we've got the PlayStation, we're going to make the same way they own the Spider-Man rights. So they made a really amazing Spider-Man game and they've put everything behind it and it was brilliant. If they did that with Ghostbusters, that's like, why shouldn't we expect something like that? And the fact that it's a Quest game means that it's got to run on mobile, and if you're playing it on Quest, you wouldn't mind so much. But you think if you've got all the power of the PS5 behind this, there's no reason it shouldn't look far better than it does, other than the fact it has to run on Quest as well. But yeah, it's a shame. But I mean, Alex loved it. Alex, if he was here, he'd be sticking up for it. Yeah. I think. And
I mean, I enjoyed what I played. Just my main criticism for the game from the start was there's not enough content. And from what you're saying, it's just a rehash of maps with like a different overlay to them. Which, yes, there's still more. There's more story. You know, they brought back some of the older characters from the films, which that's a great thing to do because I think that's what you're lacking from the get go.
You got to pay to use them. Pay to unlock them, obviously.
Okay, that makes sense. Like I said to you the other day, though, was this season pass that we bought is just really not kind of making its weight in any of the value for it. It's just I think all I got back from it is 4 costumes, and it was not worth 4 costumes. So yeah, and I feel like they're constantly trying to correct what they've done wrong with the game to the point where people that have paid that extra price for the season pass have not kind of got anything from that really either. But I enjoyed what I played originally. I just wanted there to be more. So I think I'd still have fun playing it. But I think I'd still be leaving with the same kind of outcome that hopefully more will come in the future. Maybe it will. Maybe they will add more maps over time, but I just don't think rehashing the same maps, especially in a small time frame as well. Like if you rehashed a map from a game to a sequel, you kind of appreciate it when you go back to an area from a previous game sometimes if you see it in a different light. Whereas it's the same game, just rehashing them, it's not really, doesn't have the same effect. But yeah, hopefully it'll be there one day, but I'd still play it if anyone asked me to.
Well, Alex is probably up for it. Well, let's talk more positively, Reese, about something that you have been enjoying. Before we do, though, I'd just like to let everyone know that if you'd like to support us, they can give us a sub on the service they're using. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe and a comment and all that kind of stuff too. And if you want to, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/lacrosse for £2 a month. You can help us produce the show and you get to join our little WhatsApp group, which is quite fun. And you can also check out VRRock at vr-rock.com to buy prescription lenses for any, not just PSVR2, but any of your VR headsets. And if you use the code CBVR, you get 10% off and free worldwide shipping. That's vr-rock.com. Right, Reese, and you have been playing. Well, I don't even know how to pronounce this game. You tell us what you've been playing, Reese.
As it looks, OVRDark, a do not open story. So it's a sequel to a previously released game called Do Not Open, which is another horror style game in VR. I never played the original, so I can't comment on that one. But what I've played of this one so far has been quite impressive, and Alex did want us to say that he also agreed with it being quite impressive. So the game starts off with its narrative. It's a very story-driven game. There's an infection going around, and basically whoever gets this infection kind of goes crazy in a sense. They lose all sense of just their brain functions. They become very feral. So one of the characters in the game gets this and murders his entire family, which you do see. I'm going to say this game is very graphic in the sense of how it's done. And when I say it's his family, it's not just his wife. He does have a kid as well. So it's a very graphic game in the sense of what you see. And yeah, there's various things that may put some people off, but at the end of the day, it's a horror game and it's meant to be very dark. So it follows this story along with basically the character who has this infection, but you play someone called George who now needs to go to this mansion to recover all the research that he has to kind of save the world from this infection. So upon getting there, you explore the mansion. He's friends with the owner of this place, and you find him, and he's not all what it seems. So it follows along with this. The mechanics of the game, though, are done very well to the point where, like, if Mike sees you, you have to stand still. You're not allowed to move your head. You're not allowed to move your hands. He will literally stand there breathing, watching you as closely as possible, and it is terrifying. So if you move, he will just pounce on you. And when I mean pounce, it will change your whole screen. And
so it's just, am I right in thinking that the original Do Not Open, that was the game very similar where you kind of had timed, you were in rooms, so you had to sort of solve puzzles.
I believe so.
And if you took too long, the guy just burst into the room and killed you. And the solutions to the puzzle were randomed, so you couldn't randomized, so you couldn't just use a guide or anything. You just had to get through them, and if you died, you started from the beginning again. And that's the reviews I read of the first one were very negative. Is that this is the sequel to that game? So it's a sequel to Do Not Open, but it's not in the same narrative as that. Like in the sense of how that one works, where you basically burst and if you fail the puzzle, it doesn't work like this. Majority of the time, which by saying this may spoil it a little bit, you won't notice him until you complete something that's correct. Unless you do a puzzle that's right, you won't notice him. Or you'll see him lurk in the corridors, but he's more there to kind of just give you that kind of effect. There's moments you've got to sneak past him, which is what I did today, where you had to sneak past him, and if you look at him, he will just pounce on you, and I screamed more times than I could count. The mechanics of it's a very... Like if you look at it in the puzzle sense, it's a very puzzler at heart, is the way I look at it. But it's not a puzzle in traditions of like, going on computers. It's a very Resident Evil-esque puzzle. So if you remember like Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2, where you got to collect swords, shields, different things and place them in different objects to kind of open a door, press things in sequences, move objects onto weights. It's very much like that in the sense, and it all adds to that kind of uncovering this mansion. And the more you go through the story, you find that there are these different things within the mansion to Mike's family and what they believed in. Some of it's paranormal and it's a little more darker element to it as well. So
there's a lot to uncover inside the mansion, which is something I'm really enjoying doing. There's also a ton of different collectibles as well, if that's something you're interested in. But horror-wise, if you're a fan of horror, this is probably the most scared I've been in VR since Propagation Hotel. I've been absolutely terrified. Like, yeah, my hairs have just been on edge the whole time going through these corridors. So, yeah.
Honestly, I was looking at my watch thing because I was like, I could feel myself tensing up just listening to you describe it. So I can't imagine.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
It's one of them games where, like, you see just different things appear as well, and you're like, was that there? And he's like, yeah, it's... But I think the one thing that really did it for me was there was this bit I was sneaking past him, and you have to go collect something, and behind you, like while I was collecting it, I could just hear breathing down my ear, and I was like, okay. So I literally turned round, and as I turned round, he just pounced on me, and I shit a brick. Literally, I have never screamed so much before in VR because I just didn't expect it. I was like, no, he ain't gonna be there. And you could hear his breathing, his laughter, and just things like that. It's the audio they've done is superb, and yeah, it looks really good as well. That's the thing. So
why would you do this to yourself?
Sounds so horrible.
You could just play a nice game like Pikmin.
So I'm 100% going to go finish it. I'm 50%, I think 52, 53% for it now. Nice. It's taken me about an hour and a half to get to 53%. So I'd say probably somewhere between 3 and 4 hours playtime, depending on how stuck you get, what you look for. There's a lot of collectibles you can miss. But yeah.
So is that a hard game?
In the terms of having someone breathe down your ear while you're sneaking past it, yeah, that's pretty grueling.
But if you could block that out, is what you're doing is presumably not that hard if it's just those like
I'd say,
Resident Evil 1 level puzzles.
Yeah, I'd say once you get used to the puzzles, they're perfectly fine. They're not difficult in the sense. Sometimes it'll get you running around corridors, but usually the way is everything's in the vicinity that you need it to be. So like if you were in 3 different doorways, them 3 doors are going to correlate to that one door around you to unlock that.
Yeah.
It's very situated. But there's all these different things around the map as well. Like you can smoke cigarettes, but for some reason that they've put that there and it decreases your stamina. But that's a trophy if you want to go for that. I have not because that seems stupid when he chases you and I've got no stamina.
That's a classic. That's a Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, it's just
really reference, right?
Yeah, it's really, and there's energy drinks and they increase your stamina. So, which is it's not accurate because my stamina's not great and I've been drinking energy drinks for life. So this is
I just
not
imagine
accurate.
you was drinking energy in real life at the same time, just to like pure immersion.
That works.
You're there with your monster.
I should do that. It's a good idea. But no, I think anyone that's a fan of horror games definitely needs to check this one out. It's terrifying, and I think obviously with Madison being delayed today on the day that we're recording this is the. I mean, I can't really speak for myself. I've only played it in flat, but I think this is just pure nightmare fuel.
It's going to scratch that same itch.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That nightmare itch.
I will be going back to it. I will be finishing it because I'm having a blast playing it. But just walking down these corridors and just having this torch, because it's pitch black most of the time. All you can see is your torch radius, and it's just, yeah, I don't know why I'm doing it to myself.
Well, yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, if people do want to do it to themselves, I'm just trying to look up how much is this.
£25.
£25, okay.
Yeah, $24.99, I think it is.
Okay. Well, I suppose for
from my perspective, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I mean, if you're someone who's not going to get scared, which I'd be surprised because there was moments where I jumped once on a situation and failed and had to do the same bit again, and it made me jump again. It's the audio quality on this is some of the best I've heard, to the point where you can hear him walking on the floorboards above you. The audio is probably, it's the level of it. It's the loudness of when he jumps at you. It's enough to make you jump just simply because of how loud it's going to be. And it does state that at the beginning of the game, just how loud the audio is. Like, it's one of them things. Even the starting screen, you literally, as you start the game, you select new game or continue. He's there just looking at you in the mirror, and it's like, okay, this is already creeping me out. It's just unsettling. It's unnerving all the way through. And if you're someone who has enjoyed that, you're going to have a blast. But I think once you complete it once and you know which to expect, I think then 4 hours have slowly become 2 hours kind of thing. like my save corrupted on the first time I played it. But again, this is an early build though, so you got an update now as the game came out, which has fixed a lot of issues. So I went back into it, and I think it's about 20 minutes or 30 minutes of the game I missed out on. So I literally sprinted all through that, no issues whatsoever, and I knew what to expect, so I wasn't scared at all. And then got back to the bit where I was like just terrified, just like walking down corridors holding this torch, like, yeah. But no, I think £25 is a good price for a horror experience of this caliber.
Yeah, and I guess with Madison being delayed for a few weeks, it's only a short 3-4 hour game, so any horror fans can pick this one up, and we've got plenty of time to finish it before jumping into Madison to carry on that horror buffet. I'm amazed listening to you describe it. I can't believe Alex is playing and enjoying this because we brought you on, Grease, as the horror guy, because there's no way Ben and I are playing this.
I don't think he's reached Mike yet, as far as I'm aware. It gets worse when you reach Mike. But I will say, obviously, for the £25, there is replayability. It does have a platinum trophy. There's a lot of things you can miss on the game with collectibles. You can go for a stamina decreased run. You can go for a stamina increased run. You know, there's so many different things that you will miss through your playthrough that you will have to play through again if you do want to get that platinum to add a little bit more to it.
Well, find out in future weeks if Reese did manage to platinum this game.
I don't think I'm going to manage to platinum it, but I will go for it again.
Okay, well, we'll find out if Alex manages it. That's the bigger test.
Alex might.
Well, Reese, you'll have to let us know in a few weeks' time when you finish it, if it continues to live up to your initial high impressions. So thank you for covering that one for us and sharing your thoughts on that one. Right, well, that, I think, wraps things up for another episode. Look at that, guys. Another episode in the bag.
Lovely.
Who'd have thought it, eh? Well, everyone, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could please tell your family and your friends all about us. And if you want to get involved, please do not hesitate to drop into our Discord to say hello. Thank you to everyone who does that already. And last but not least, thank you to all our patrons for supporting the work we do. We love each and every single one of you. Don't we, Ben?
Except Carl, yeah.
Obviously, yeah, we've got Carl.
Yeah.
I have been your host, Laurie. These two have been Ben and Reese, and we will see you again next time. Until then, it's goodbye.